You sit in a cold room, dimly lit by a single bulb. Your hands are clasped nervously on a metal table. A single bare bulb casts long shadows on concrete walls, its faint buzz the only sound. Across from you, an FBI agent leans forward, eyes fixed on you in an unblinking stare. He hasn't raised his voice. He hasn't laid a finger on you. Yet your heart is pounding in your chest. Sweat drips down your back. With each passing second, the truth feels harder to hide. This agent is slowly breaking you, and he's doing it without ever touching you. No threats, no violence, just words. Words carefully chosen to worm their way into your mind. It's a psychological battlefield, and this interrogator is a master tactician. How do they do it? How can an investigator crack a hardened suspect using nothing more than conversation? Welcome to episode 1 of our interrogation and interview series. Today, we're exploring two very different approaches to this mind game. One is the old-school Reid technique, and the other is the modern peace method. It's the United States versus the United Kingdom, confrontation versus cooperation, a strategy that chases confessions versus one that chases the truth. Both claim they can get suspects to confess, but only one claims to do it without leaving a trail of false confessions. In one corner, a method that dominated FBI training for decades, a high-pressure recipe designed to break suspects down. In the other, a gentler approach born in Britain that promises to gather information without coercion. How do these techniques work? What dark psychology powers them? And what happens when the mind games go too far? By the end of this episode, you'll know how interrogators can make even an innocent person confess, or get a stone-cold criminal to spill their secrets, all without laying a hand on anyone. You'll see why a simple change in style might mean the difference between justice served and justice derailed. So get comfortable, or rather, uncomfortable, as we dive into the shadowy art of interrogation. This is how the FBI broke suspects without touching them. Back in our interrogation room, the real game begins. For decades, the Reid technique of interviewing and interrogation was the gold standard for American interrogators. It was meant to replace the old days of threats, beatings, and even torture investigate Midwest. The man behind it was a Chicago detective named John E. Reid. In 1955, Reid used his tactics to get a confession in a headline-making case. Law enforcement was impressed. Here was a way to get answers without violence. Soon, agencies nationwide were learning the Reid technique. This method became ingrained, a high-pressure script to break suspects down. The FBI agent in our story is following that playbook. He studied the case in advance. He's already decided you're the prime suspect. He's analyzed the evidence and your background. He walked into the room convinced of your guilt. Now, he wants to eliminate any doubt in your mind as well. Phase 1 feels casual. It starts as a friendly chat. He asks harmless questions about your day, your family, your hobbies. He's building rapport, making you feel at ease. All the while, he's watching your every blink and twitch, listening to each word for signs of stress or deception. He thinks he can read those so-called tells, little signs in your voice and body that give away when you lie. In reality, reading those cues isn't as reliable as they believe. But at this moment, you're just chatting. He smiles and nods like a friend. Then, without warning, the trap springs. The agent's demeanor shifts. He leans in closer, voice dropping low. "We need to talk about what really happened," he says. Your stomach flips. The interrogation has begun, and the air in the room changes. It's like the oxygen just got thinner. I didn't do it, you blurt out. Stop, he barks. No more lies. Every time you try to speak, he cuts you off. You can't even finish a sentence in your own defense. He starts laying out evidence. Photographs, reports, maybe a witness statement. Some of it is real. Some of it might be completely made up. Legally, he's allowed to lie to you about the evidence. And he will, if it gets you to crack. He's using what interrogators call maximization. That means making the case against you sound as overwhelming as possible. He exaggerates the evidence and the potential punishment. He wants you to feel cornered, and it's working. The walls feel like they're closing in. Your mind is a fortress under siege. Each accusation is a battering ram against your defenses. Your mouth is dry. Your pulse is thundering in your ears. Just when you feel you can't take it anymore, he offers you a lifeline. Suddenly, the agent's tone turns soft. Look, I get it, he says gently. You didn't mean for this to happen. Now he's using minimization. He downplays the crime and offers you a way to save face. Maybe, he suggests, it was an accident. Maybe you were under pressure. He's basically telling you that if you confess, he'll understand. You're not a monster in his eyes, just someone who made a mistake. The contrast is dizzying. Fire and brimstone one moment, gentle sympathy the next. It's as if he's two different people. Good cop and bad cop rolled into one. Sometimes they even literally use two officers. One storms out in anger, and another comes in all concern and compassion. Either way, the message is clear. One of them will get you to talk. And you start to think, maybe you should. Now he sets up the final trap question. Did you plan this from the start? He asks softly. Or did it just happen in the heat of the moment? It's a lose-lose question. Either you admit you planned it, or you claim it was an accident. Whichever you choose, you're still confessing guilt. This is a classic Reid Technique maneuver. Two alternatives, both implicating you. Your defenses crumble. Faced with that choice, you break. Tears well up in your eyes. It was an accident, you whisper. Relief floods through you as you say it. At least now, they won't think you're a monster. The agent nods. He slides a piece of paper in front of you. Your confession. With trembling hands, you sign it. Just like that, the interrogation is over. The relentless pressure dissolves. You slump back in your chair, drained. You've confessed. For a moment, you even feel a strange sense of relief. All you wanted was for the questioning to stop, and now it finally has. This is the power of the Reid Technique in action. It can make a guilty person spill their darkest secrets. But here's the dark truth. It can break innocent people too.